G'day again, Crate and fellow Praetorians. Summon Steel here again. I want to do a quick comparison between the build that I showed earlier, the dual totem vitality based build, and this single totem plus Wind Devil lightning based build. Now this is a bit of a comparison for you to get an idea of just how much better the lightning damage is, and how my request for maybe a second vitality based storm totem in place of the Wendigo totem, how that request is probably not as unreasonable as what some people might think. When you see how this build functions, how well it deals with the content, and it's got probably even less specific gearing than what I had on my vitality storm totem dual totem build. You see how well this build functions against the content. You'll see that either this sort of setup has to be nerfed, or maybe you guys would consider allowing the dual vitality storm totem build to be enabled. Either way, the amount of options that you've got with the shaman class, with these sort of caster and semi-utility sort of builds, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I've only stayed basically within the shaman class at the moment. Both of these builds are druids, and both very similar in their mastery allotment. In fact, that one that I lost, the dual totem build that I lost, I'm going to rebuild that again and distribute the mastery points a little bit more differently. I sort of messed up there, but that was the first shaman that I built, and I just wanted to have a look at some of the top tier skills as well. But there was no need for me to invest that. There was no need for me to invest in that much mastery. I probably could have stopped at 40, etc. Anyway, I'm going to rebuild that one, but I just want you guys to have a look at this one and see how much better it handles the content by way of comparison with the dual vitality totem build. So these Wind Devils actually do quite a good job of keeping everything under wraps too, and I'm getting a nice amount of damage from the lightning on the storm totem. So here's the build, just quickly. Coming to a Carnist, picking up some elemental damage. Obviously the percentage damage is what I'm after mainly, because that stacks onto the storm totem. Maven Spear I consider to be a must with this build. Really glad I picked it up. Even with the low point investment, it still helps with durability quite substantially. Once again, a little bit on inner focus. Didn't worry about mental alacrity, because the way the storm totem is casting, it doesn't seem to make that much difference. It's actually better to stack percentage damage instead of cast speed, from what I can see with the storm totem. Alright, so we managed to crank that up to 20 thanks to some gearing. Stacked on some more life, and still running at about 6,000 health, which is enough to see me through most situations without too much drama. And you can see we've taken the Wind Devil. I only put 1 point here because I needed it to get to there. That really works quite well. The Wind Devil itself sometimes goes a little bit wayward, but the fact that I can get 2 of them out pretty much accounts, compensates for its wayward nature at times. So yeah, pretty basic build once again. Making sure I've got enough defence, and then just buffing my main offensive skills. So we'll have a quick look at the gearing. All pretty straightforward. All basic stuff that you can find and pick up via epics. Was glad to get that. So this is a lot easier. This is probably actually a bit easier to build and stack the damage on than the vitality, the dual vitality totem build. Obviously, once again, it can be fine-tuned with the appropriate double rares, but you'll see the way it functions even now. You can see there you're getting up to 4,000 lightning damage, and the Wind Devils themselves are doing pretty decent damage too. So running Maven Sphere. Let's go for a bit of a run and show you how it all works. Just smashing. So you can see here we're not suffering from the vitality resistance, trouble with the vitality resistance that we were getting on the other build. Although they still seem to have a fair bit of elemental resistance, but definitely doing a lot more damage, clearing the mobs there a lot quicker. Can't get the second Wind Devil out straight away. You've got to wait, there's a bit of a cooldown before you can cast the second Wind Devil, or the third for that matter. But even so, it doesn't really matter that much.
That skill's not ready.
So when the Wind Devils are not engaged in combat, they idle back to the character like the other pets. And generally they take care of business when you want them to. It's pretty good like that. I don't have a lot of trouble with the AI. These guys who
Can't do that.
you can see there's a thicker pack of them. And yeah, just drop 2 Wind Devils. Drop the totem, run around the outside. By the time you get back around to the start, they're all dead. Another treasure trove. Thank you. Got some reduced entrapment stats on my gear, so I don't have to worry about that as much as I did with the other build. And yeah, you can see these guys are just don't really have much of an answer for this one. And then I was just going to hammer him. See you later, Buzz.
Do that.
Taking care of business. So you see my request for a second offensive vitality storm totem probably isn't as unreasonable as what some of you might have thought, or as OP when you consider what's going on here. Right, so that's the area boss taken care of, no worries. Pack of mobs, see you later. So that's a really nice, very powerful little build that really wasn't that hard to put together. Certainly nowhere near as hard as my Banff build that I put together just last week or this week. Alright. I'll leave it there. You guys can see what's going on. Enjoying the build. I'll try something else. Got a few other ideas, maybe with some different multi-class combinations, even with the totems, and that's not even getting into two-handed melee builds or anything like that yet, or even the pet builds. I'm sure D-Master probably roll out a couple of pet builds. That seems to be his favourite specialty. But yeah, you can see these builds are very strong. without too much. I mean, obviously I'm running all epics, blah blah blah, but really it's not that hard to pick up those epics either. You know, between a leveling up run and a bit of farming, most players would be able to build something comparative. You know, within maybe, I don't know, 30 hours, 20, 30 hours, maybe 40. So yeah, plenty of headroom to expand too as far as defensive ability goes, and also you can still see I've got a bit left here. So I've got these that I can stack when the level cap increases. This is maxed, obviously. The only way I can make that better is by getting more plus gear. This has still got a little bit of headroom too. And then of course I can stack that. I haven't even started to really scratch the surface, or not yet halfway on that one. You know, plus then you can bring stuff like that into play. That I should have probably even grabbed that. Still got plenty left on the shielding. You've got this sort of business going on too. So there's plenty of ways to scale the damage just through the skills still. Plenty of headroom left in the build that way. And obviously the better items you get as better stuff drops, start to get a few legendaries. And she's really going to rock the fucking Casbah, man. So once again, very nice. I don't know what you guys reckon, whether it's OP. I mean, there's a lot of builds out there at the moment that are almost as comparable in the amount of damage output versus risk versus point investment versus gearing. And there are some that are worse, there are some that are better, you know. But I'd say this sort of build is pretty much up there. Catch you later.